It's nice to see you.
Good morning or good afternoon, whatever your time is.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Okay, a little bit tired, but I'm fine, thank you. How about you?
I'm
Oops.
doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for taking the time out
You're
of your
welcome.
schedule for this
No,
important to have this important talk. Um, do you believe the world is becoming multipolar?
no, it is, and it was. Um, Unipolarity it never existed. It was a wet dream of defenders of capitalism, I would say, after, the Soviet Union ceased to exist, imploded, so to speak. Um, I mean, that's what US imperialism wants, but there's other powers. There's Russia, there's China, there's Iran, there's Latin America, Africa. People do not want, a central government in a foreign country telling them what to do. So unipolarity does not exist. Of course, the world as it is now is multipolar, no doubt about it.
What do you consider is driving the rise in global military and political conflicts?
Well, the root cause is the capitalist system itself. Um, it is outdated. It is unable to support the needs of humanity, whether it is the question of ecological collapse, war, poverty. This system is unable to solve any of these issues. I mean, if it is true that capitalism is the best thinkable system of the world, and it's so far superior than socialism, it had 30, 40 years time to prove it. Where's the proof? It proved exactly the contrary.
Um, is there a risk as of a global financial collapse as a result of current events?
No, there is no risk. It's a certainty. The question is not whether a financial collapse happens or not. The question is only when. The system is bankrupt already. It is already bankrupt, and the ones in power hide it. But they won't be able to hide it forever. At some point soon, I think, the system will collapse. We're getting closer and closer.
What do you consider governments should do to prevent World War III?
That's a very good question, but it's a wrong question
Yeah,
because it assumes that, it's like asking the wolf not to eat the sheep, right? Uh, because the governments of this world have created this mess. And I'm thinking of war, inequality, poverty, hunger. Look at Gaza, look at what happens in Ukraine, so many other places in the world. Our governments have been creating this mess, so we can't ask them to fix it. That's not logical. So the question should be two: what needs to be done, and who needs to do it? So I think the only power with an interest, or the only layer of society with the power and the interest to change things, to fix all these things you mentioned, is to take power in their own hands. They need to do it themselves, which means the global working class needs to unite. It's the path of worldwide socialist revolution. I think that's the only way. Because governments will not do what people want or need. They will do what a few, people, a small group of people, which basically exploits all others, what they want to do. That's the whole purpose of of the worldwide parties, most of them, almost all of them. That's their main function. So the working class needs to independently unite globally, needs to have a plan and execute according to that plan. And that's the only way how we can turn this earth in a pretty nice place, I think.
Can you add something more about this question, that who and what needs to be done to prevent the World War III?
Well, again, I think it can only be avoided by the intervention of the working class globally. You know, imagine whether it's in Gaza or in Ukraine, imagine the people, the soldiers on the ground, they just say, no, we are not going to continue to kill our sisters and brothers. And they kill our sisters and brothers. We kill each other. For what? For what interest? Is it in our interest? No, can't be. So let's make peace and let's make war on the ones who want war. Let's make war on them to stop it. So, and that needs to happen globally, because all problems we have, be it ecology, economy, poverty, it's all the economy is interrelated. Everything depends on each other. We need to make best use of that. We need to help each other out. What lacks in one piece of the world needs to be supplied by another piece of the world. That's how we need to organize, without destroying everything, including the ecology. That's the basis for our survival. So, and of course, that needs a good plan, because the ones in power, they don't want to let go of their privileges. And so that means you need a leadership, understanding the situation, understanding class war, understanding revolution, how to avoid a failure of the revolution. So, and those people exist, you know. So there's a party called the Socialist Equality Party, and I support it. And that's all this party is about too. In socialism, we need to remind ourselves what the goal of socialism is, as laid out by Marx. It's basically about stopping the exploitation of man by man. That's the goal. The goal is to enable everyone to develop, you know, their personality to the full. You cannot do that if you're hungry, if you don't have a home, if you don't have work, if you're in the middle of a war. And the only mode is survival mode. And too many people are living under those conditions. And as long as that's the case, none of us are free, because every one of us could be next. Now there's war somewhere else. Tomorrow it might, you know, knock on your door. So it's nothing, you know, we can ignore. I think it's whoever loves life, you know, and wants life to continue on this planet needs to think about those questions.
How can we get this message across their minds to those people, so they can realize that they're under control of the governments and they need to just stop? And
that's probably the most crucial question at all. And I think the answer is it's not easy. It's very difficult for many reasons. For one, worldwide mass media, they create certain narratives, which, you know, are believed by wide sections of the population. So, and to break that, I'll call it propaganda lies, or these propaganda lies. All you can do is, you know, present facts. What happened really? And well, if somebody is brainwashed, you know, say it openly. Many people are brainwashed. And if you are, then of course you do not notice, right? And I'm saying this because I have been there. Today I'm a socialist, and I'm a socialist since a long time. But there was a time I was not. I was a social democrat, and I would fall for nationalist, positions, which led to war. And then I would even, consider to support one war party or the other. And it took myself time to realize that I was on a wrong path. I did believe lies. Because how do you make people go to war with each other? Because people do not want to go to war. Everybody wants to live in peace and have fun. So why? Well, it starts with you need to be mentally prepared. You need to dehumanize the other people. They are cruel. They're eating babies for breakfast. They're doing this, that. You start to create hatred. And this is how And if you're in that mode, you will not easily notice. So, but when you notice, that's when you start to look for if the point where you start to, scratch your head and think something's wrong. I'm on the wrong path. This is where you can reach people. This is where they start to open up. If somebody is stuck and is just defending his point of view, you cannot turn his head around at that point in time. It's the ones who, question things and want to understand about the truth. That's at least my experience.
In your view, do people are too scared, or they're just too, I don't know, too under control, that they scared to voice their opinions?
Well, a very good question. I will start with, the upper layers in society, people who are materially doing well. I think many of those who have a good life are just content and happy. And then the others who suffer to some degree, more or less. I think many understand that things are going fundamentally wrong, but they do not see, how to change that. What can I do about this?
Yeah, definitely.
And they feel helpless because they don't see the way. Now, of course, that's a good situation for the ones who do not want to have a change in the power structure, in how society is set up. They're happy with that. For that purpose, also a lot of propaganda is used to, cause confusion in the heads of people. So they do not see a solution, and that's why that paralyzes them. So I think there is a way, and the way is only in unity. I alone, I can do nothing. You alone, you can do nothing. But imagine all people all working class people in the world. That's 80-90% for sure. Imagine they go on general strike next week, Monday morning. They will not go to work. They will seize, all the critical infrastructure. And they are more than police and military. And maybe they can join us, maybe. If the consciousness is there, it could be so easy. That's so getting the right way to change things, to turn things around into the heads, that's the most crucial task, to avoid catastrophe, ecological breakdown, world war, hunger, poverty, war. And of course, the question is, if a system goes, you need to replace it. So how do you do that? That's also an important question. How is power and control organized? It needs to be democratic, full democratic, not this type of democracy we have. And I won't even call it democracy because in reality it is not. It's just a theater play of democracy. Yeah, I don't know how much time we have left.
I read in some post about the I don't know, I can't I don't remember all the details of this story, but uh it was like all women in one day. I mean, it's about maybe women rights or something like that. They all women. I just read this story not long ago, but I can't remember the details. So they, like you said, they didn't go to work. One day they just all stayed at home, and it was like nobody was working, and it was global actually story. I
Well,
don't remember where it was. I need to check on it, but it's actually it's real. It's real. We can
it
do that.
it reminds me of how the Russian Revolution, the October Revolution, 1917 started. You know, nobody saw it coming. It caught everyone by surprise, even the professional revolution. And it was women. It was women on a nice morning just demanding bread. This is how the October Revolution started. Simple as that. At some point in time, it will break out somewhere. I mean, look around the world. Mass media will not report about it, but there's strikes and struggles breaking out everywhere around the world. The situation is totally unstable. Now, you can look at it and say, and be scared and say, oh, wow, well, we're at the edge of destruction. We're driving toward nuclear war. And it's true, but there's a chance in this also. You know, the more the pressure, the more it's reaction, action and reaction. You know, you can put pressure on the working class and increase it, but at some point in time, you know, that pot is going to explode. And I think this decade is very critical um, from many angles, and I'll remain optimistic. Let's see.
We have to stay optimistic, actually.
I
to
think it's the right way to be.
And my last question is about what do you believe should be done to promote human prosperity and remove divisions, hunger, and social inequality?
Okay, I'll put it into a few short sentences. The system as we have it right now, or within this system, everything is directed and subjugated to the profit interest of a few super rich. Whether it's economy, ecology, human rights, you know, the lives of people, it all doesn't matter. It's all, everything serves the profit interest of a few. So what needs to be done? We need to have a system in place where everything we do, all our instruments, even government instruments, institutions, economy, everything is organized in a way to satisfy the needs of the masses, of the working class. Make sure, first thing, end all wars immediately. Then make sure everybody gets enough food and drink, good quality food and drink, healthcare, home, and then start to reorganize our economy and our society just to fulfill needs and make this world a better place. It's possible. We've got technology, we've got resources. We can do everything without destroying this planet and without destroying, you know, lives and souls. Imagine we wouldn't spend hundreds and thousands of billions of dollars to destroy this planet. We could use it to make everything better. So it's just, if you think about it, it's crazy. It's this is not I mean, it's not acceptable.
Yes, it's not what we have to do.
Yes. So that's it in a few short sentences. I've got nothing to add.
Thank you. That was a really great conversation, and
Thank you.
thank you. Have a
You're
great
welcome.
day.
I wish you the same. Thanks, Daria. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.
And you.